Hey man, same man, back at it again with another what? Math video. That's right. What's up, Kipsters? This is Mr. Spencer here, and I've got a mini math lesson for you. All right, let's take a look at the screen. On the screen, it says, what is 5/10 times 3/10? 0.50 times 0.30, or 5/10 times 3/10. When I hear tenths, I know that when I'm working with visual models, I know that 10 tenths make up one whole, or 10 rods make up one flat. So if you see here on the screen, this yellow flat represents one whole. And at the bottom left in the red, I have modeled for us 5/10 or 0.50 or zero point 0.5. So these five rods are equivalent to 0.50, and these three rods are equivalent to 0.30 or 3/10. So I have 5/10, which is equal to zero point 0.5, and I have 3/10, which is equal to zero point 0.3 or 3/10. So what I want to do in this example, I want to find the product of these two decimals. So the question is, how do I use visual models to help me do that? Excellent question. I want to show you how we do that. So here we have the flat of one whole. What I'm going to first do, I'm going to take my 5/10 and I'm going to drag them to where they would fit on this flat. So I've got my 5/10, that's 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, go, 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 4/10, and my 5/10 that are going to go up here. After I've placed my 5/10, I want to also place my 3/10 on my place or on my flat. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually turn this guy sideways. Oh, no, I don't want to clear my work. I want to turn it sideways. And I'm going to also overlap them. I want to overlap them. I want to overlap them. And when I say overlap, I want my green to lay on top of the red. And you're asking, well, Mr. Spencer, why are you doing that? Guess what? I got a question for you. Now that we've overlapped our 3/10 on top of our 5/10, my question is, how many individual units are overlapped? So what my question is saying, or what I'm asking you is, where my green meets my red, how many total units are being overlapped? Uh-oh, I got a little messy. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw my circle around what I'm asking you so you'd be able to get a better understanding. If you still don't see it, take a look at this. This circle that I'm drawing so carefully shows me how many units are overlapped. So if you counted these individual units, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. How many of you guys were able to guess that before I did it? I hope you're telling the truth, man. 15. 15 tenths. Or in other words, 0.15. 0.15 is my answer. So if I ask you what is 0.50 times 0.30, you should be able to tell me that your answer is 0.15. And some of us was like, Mr. Spencer, how do you know that? I placed 5/10 and 3/10 on top of each other, and I was able to see the amount of units that overlapped. The amount of units that overlapped with each other is my answer. What I also want to do, I want to show you how when we use the standard algorithm, zero point 0.5 times zero point 0.3 is equal to 0.15. I'm going to draw it out right here on the bottom right hand corner, okay? So I got 0.50 times 0.30, and now I'm going to multiply normally. I'm going to multiply my 50 and my 30 to see what I get. I've got, remember, step 1 says multiply normally, that we learned last week. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times 5 is 0. I'm going to put my 0 for my placeholder. You can put a 0 or X as your placeholder. 3 times 0 is 0. And then 5 times 3 is equal to 15. What I'm going to do, I got to find the sum of those numbers, right? And the sum, when I say sum, that means add. So 0 plus 0 here in the ones column is 0. 0 plus 0 in the tens column is 0. And 5 plus 0 is 5. And 1 plus 0 is 1. All right. So what I now need to do, I need to place my decimal here in my answer and my sum. But the question is like, where do I put my decimal? So I multiplied normally. Now I want to count the total amount of digits that are to the right of my decimal. So here's decimal 1. I have 1, 2 digits to the right. I'm going to draw a 2 over there so I don't forget it. My second decimal, I'm going to count the digits to the right. That's 1, 2. That's another 2 digits. So in total, I have 4 digits to the right of my decimal. So now that I know that I have 4 digits to the right of my decimal, I'm going to move my decimal 4 spaces to the left in my answer. So if I start here all the way to the right of the sum and jump 4 spaces to the left, 1, 2, 3, and 4, what do you get? Class, what do you get? If you said 0.15 or 15 hundredths, you are absolutely correct. What do you notice about our two answers? What do you notice about the two answers and the two ways that we used? They're the same, exactly. So when we use our area model, we overlap our rods to help us find out our answer or our product. And then when we use standard algorithm, we know that when we follow those 3 steps from last week, we can also find the product. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now that we know how to use visual models to help us solve for products, let's get some practice in. All right, I hope this helped. Any questions, please make sure to ask your teacher. All right, see you next time.